Hi, this is Todd Malico, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of keyword research based on our keyword research strategy that we just covered. We're going to look at creating a seed list using a few different tools, considering the value and intent of those keywords, how to refine it based on keyword difficulty or opposition scoring. This opposition scoring and understanding the competition is an important part of this planning process, in addition to understanding the value, understanding our business model, and what our search visitors are looking for. We evaluate and reevaluate this process through this kind of keyword research cycle of life that we're going to cover. We're using a tool, we're creating that list, we're expanding it, evaluating, refining it, understanding our whole entire keyword universe, and then applying the knowledge of our competition to that as well on an individual keyword level. And I call this keyword opposition to benefit analysis. It's essentially a cost to benefit analysis for what it'll take to rank for an individual keyword. The opposition is how strong the search engine result position competition is. What are the other competitors like? What's their domain authority? What's their link authority? How much content do they have? How many pages are indexed? This type of thing. And then what is the benefit? What's the value of ranking for these terms? What's the search volume? What's the cost per click? What's the conversion rate like if we know it? What are our profit margins like? Ultimately, how much new business can we generate if we are successful in ranking for these keywords? And we look at the opposition or keyword difficulty scoring side of things on a very simple level by using the keyword difficulty tool at SEO Moz. And you can see the keyword difficulty here for a handful of the phrases that we've talked about in insurance. And why we do this from a competitive standpoint is so that we can develop defensible traffic. It's not easy to rank for these phrases, and if we do achieve some rankings, we want to make sure that we can defend those rankings with strong content assets, with reliable citations that are going to be there for a long time, strong authority links and social signals, and we want people to stay on our site for a long time and be highly engaged with our site. So we're going to look at this sample strategy of what it would be like to be a local insurance company, what it would be like to be Geico Insurance if we were competing with State Farm, and we'll do a little bit of keyword research demonstration based on these using some of the 2-word examples, 3-word examples, and then using a geo modifier to see how this impacts our keyword research. So the main goal of our keyword research and competitive analysis together is to come up with a spreadsheet that we can make decisions from. We want something that shows us the benefit as well as the opposition and gives us some sense of priority for our overall SEO strategy. We need a list of all the seed words, so we're going to start with a seed word list. And we're going to do this with something like Ubersuggest or the Google AdWords Keyword Planner tool. Here is a demonstration of Ubersuggest, which is a free tool that I really like. You can put something in like car insurance or insurance, and it starts giving you suggestions based on Google Suggest. So you can see I added some phrases here: car insurance quotes, car insurance companies, car insurance rates, and I add those over here. And then I can get those in a spreadsheet or in just a little text file here. So I get a nice little text file here, and I'm going to copy and paste that into a list at Google. When you start the keyword planning process, it will look a little something like this. And they change this interface every once in a while, so it may look a little bit different by the time you try it, but it's always very similar. And I'm going to search for new keyword ad group ideas. I can search here and do it that way. I can get search volume information based on that list that I just created. I can throw these in there and then get the search volume for these. So this is going to be the best place to get our search volume. And then from here we can export these by doing download all to Excel. And we're going to get our keyword ideas. We're going to get keyword monthly search volume. We're going to get cost per click from the same location. You can see getting a suggested bid, which is similar to cost per click. That's some cost per click information that we can use for our spreadsheet. And we're going to import all of this data into a single spreadsheet. What we're not going to get here is good competitive information. We can see high, medium, low, but this is for paid search, not necessarily organic search. So we're going to refer to a different tool for organic search for our opposition scoring. For that opposition field of our spreadsheet, you can see I have opposition here, And I get those percentages from the keyword difficulty tool at Moz.com. I would put my keyword phrases in here, which I have already done, and I have insurance, life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, and there's those difficulty scores. So I'm going to record those and put those into that spreadsheet. And this is giving us a true competitive idea of what the search results are like, or what I call an opposition or keyword difficulty score. And we're going to compare our estimated clicks, our search value, our search volume, that cost per click, and that's going to give us a benefit score. So this is just a basic example of a Cobb analysis using just a few of the keywords from our keyword list. And then what we also want to do is just kind of create some notes. Is it broad? Is it competitive? Is it less competitive? What's the user intent, informational, navigational, commercial, etc.? And then what's our decision on that keyword? Ultimately, after we really do some Cobb analysis beyond just our basic keyword analysis, we'll be able to prioritize and come up with a priority score for these keywords as well. So Google Keyword Planner and Ubersuggest and WordTracker and a handful of other tools are going to give you some initial ideas. Keyword Planner, Ubersuggest are free tools. Once you get beyond the free tools, you get into some paid subscription tools that are really worth their weight in gold. I'm a big fan of SEMrush. You can see I would be able to collect much more in terms of information in just a few searches here. What I would generally do entering into any space, any vertical, if I'm working with Geico or even a local insurance provider in the Miami area, what I'm going to do is a search for car insurance. I'm going to see what the competitors are like. I'm going to search for one of those market defining keywords, and I'm going to turn on the Moz bar using the SERP overlay, and I'm going to see some of their competitive information. I'm going to see what their page authority is like, what their domain authority is like, what their total root linking domains are like, and I can get a variety of information for all the sites in the top 3, the top 10. I'm going to record those: Allstate, Esurance, some local insurance providers here. You can see I got the local 10-pack in that search result, Progressive. So those competitors I'm going to use in other third-party tools like SEMrush. And for SEMrush, we can look at who's really doing the best. We can compare Geico to State Farm to Allstate and see who has the most organic traffic. And we see that's Geico. So even if I'm working for Geico, I would want to sustain those rankings, or maybe I would want to improve some of those. And I can see where they're ranking. I can see the trends in some of that information. And again, this is a paid subscription, but it is a lot of information. So we could even do something like Allstate is going to be our competitor. We pull up Allstate and we can download a list of their keywords. So now we have a list of a couple hundred keywords in no time. We also have our cost per click information. We have our ranking report here, kind of all built into one tool. And you see quickly why it is such a valuable tool. So we'd look at the full report and get all of the organic keywords. Now we're probably not going to use their branded search, but we're going to start to get those generic intent searches. And we can export this to an Excel spreadsheet as well. And then we're going to take a look at this information and organize it and start making those decisions. So we'll need to add that overall benefit field, and we'll need to multiply cost per click times volume to get our overall benefit. And then we'll have to pull in our keyword difficulty score from Moz.com to really get an idea of competition. But with those two things and with the consideration of user intent, we really start to define our keyword strategy further. So from SEMrush, we get this beautifully massive exported Excel spreadsheet to work with. And I'm going to show you the things that make a difference and matter and don't matter so much. The ranking position is nice to have in aggregate for your site. You can see the positions here and the previous positions. This is good for checking your overall visibility. It's a good report to give to executives that just contains overall visibility rather than ranking fluctuations. But for now, we're going to hide this. We're just going to keep this out of our report for our keyword research. Search volume and cost per click is really what we want in aggregate here, because to pull this information from the Google Planner really takes a lot of time. So we're saving a lot of time by just exporting this almost 10,000 keyword list, and we just got started. So we have all this data provided. we're going to have a list of several thousand keywords. We can start to organize this information. The URL would be helpful at some point, but we're going to hide the rest of this. The traffic costs, this competition doesn't help us at all. This is paid search competition, so don't rely on that. Number of results, trends, all of this information is not what we need for our keyword research. So we're going to hide all of this, and then we're going to create a search benefit field. And what that's going to be is just equals search volume times cost per click. And then we can just fill that all the way down. So I'm just going to do it for the first page here for time's sake. We do edit, fill, down, and then that gives us that. So we have our benefit. We have to have user intent. We have to have opposition score. And then we're going to compare our benefit to opposition score. That's our Cobb analysis. We also need to consider our user intent and our business model, but comparing that benefit to opposition is really at the heart of keyword research prioritization and competitive opposition analysis. We'll do some advanced opposition analysis, actually looking at search results and determining which ones are competitive and which ones are less competitive. But for now, that keyword difficulty score from SEO Moz is going to be sufficient. So we start ranking the spreadsheet based on these variety of factors that we're considering. One of the most important factors here is overall search benefit. This is what we're generally sorting by descending is search benefit, and that's that cost per click and volume. And we can make some important decisions here based on sorting that. We'll do a data sort, and we'll do it by descending search benefit. And that's going to show us the most important keywords, the ones with the highest search volume and cost per click combined. Then we start looking at the intent of these and the opposition levels of these and comparing those and entering our opposition score from Moz.com. We can just copy and paste these into Moz.com and then get that opposition score. So we'd go over into Moz.com, and right here we'd enter our 20 keywords or so. After we've dumped our keywords into the keyword difficulty tool, we can export them to a CSV. And we'll get something a little like this. And we just copy and paste those keyword difficulty scores into the spreadsheet that we're working on here. And so now I have a nice opposition score in that spreadsheet. Now you're going to want to do this for a couple hundred keyword phrases, and then you consider the intent and the business model, et cetera, et cetera. But you can see how we start to build out this spreadsheet. We also want to remove some duplicates. You can see there was a couple of duplicates in here. We want to remove any branded terms. If we're working with Geico, we don't want Allstate in our organic keyword search list. So we can get rid of some of those and start just getting the generic intent or the commercial intent phrases. Get rid of Allstate and just stick with roadside. You can start to make the notes on your user intent, on your business model at this point as well. And finally, you're just going to compare for Cobb purposes this opposition score, and you're going to sort these by opposition, but more importantly by overall benefit. And then when you start comparing these two, you get a ratio or a score that's that Cobb ratio or a Cobb score. So now we've seen a little bit more hands-on how to create that keyword list, how to expand it, how to evaluate it, how to do some keywords, some really basic SERP opposition scoring and refine that list and prioritize. We're going to look in the next segment about some more advanced opposition scoring and some more advanced Cobb analysis. But we need to understand these tools, and we have them demonstrated now. If you need additional tool help, there's a great list of keyword research tools. Annie Cushing maintains this list. You can find that at the above URL, todd.at/Annie. Brian Eisenberg has a nice list of website testing tools, conversion tools as well. Remember, the goal of our overall keyword research and competitive analysis or opposition analysis is to come up with a spreadsheet that we can marry to our information architecture, that we can refer to for the decision-making process of what we're going to target in our overall SEO strategy. It will look a little something like this. It'll have estimates, it'll have cost per click, it'll have our decision, it'll have the reason or the business case, it will have the keyword intent, the user intent, the difficulty, and just kind of an overall Cobb score for comparing that opposition to benefit. We looked at how to do a lot of the basics of this with creating a seed word list, understanding what keyword value is, understanding the user intent and refining that keyword list based on difficulty or opposition scores. And we'll do some more advanced scoring and advanced opposition analysis in the next segment of videos. Thank you for joining me the demonstration on keyword research, and I hope you enjoy more on COB analysis and opposition scoring.